welcome to the second meditation of 2022. I'm really looking forward to doing this one with you guys tonight. This will also be, just as a quick housekeeping thing, this will be the last 7:30 one, I think. So from this week going forward, I'll be running these a little bit earlier. I'm not entirely sure if it'll be 6:30 or 7 o'clock yet, but either way, it will be like quite a bit earlier than we have been so far. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to, as I said, continuing to do this. This is a whole lot of fun, and I really appreciate your support and the fact that you're continuing to show up for this and watching this. Hi, Prue. Thanks for tuning in again. So this week, our meditation will be centered around the idea of creativity. Creativity is typically, I guess, like defined as, so let me check my notes, the like tendency or ability to generate and recognize ideas, alternatives, and possibilities. That's the like official belief, I believe. One of the many official definitions of creativity. Actually, while I was looking that up, I realized there are a lot of different definitions, including like the ability to create or tendency to create, which is, obviously also relevant, but not, particularly, doesn't necessarily say a whole lot. But the context I would like to talk about creativity in is more about creativity as in the sense of like it being the ability to interact with something or someone in a way that makes the act of interacting itself meaningful and engaging. Is because it kind of widens the frame a little bit, makes it a little bit more broad, and it can make it helps me, and it can help all of us realize that creativity is a lot broader and can be a lot broader than just, I guess, some of the typical things that come to mind. So I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, I'm not a very creative person because I don't draw, or I don't paint, or I don't dance, or, I don't do something that's very like explicitly a creative pursuit. However, in my experience as well, that doesn't mean in any sense that you're not creative. In fact, we have to be creative to do all kinds of things, like learning something new, like trying a new thing for the first time. You have to be incredibly creative because you're interacting with something or doing something that you've never done before. You have to form all kinds of new neurological links. You have to get a whole, especially if it's a physical task, you have to learn where to put your body. So you try something and then you get some feedback, and then it either worked or it didn't, and so you adjust and try it again. You have to be quite creative in this pursuit of just learning anything. We are also really creative when we are connecting with others. We have to, a huge part of interacting with others is being able to flow and adapt and respond to what they're saying. And so we do need to be actually quite creative and quite flexible, just in our general interactions with people. There are all kinds of different ways of looking at creativity. And one of the things that I think is kind of the coolest about this is I was talking to some people about what they thought, what they defined as not creativity. This was quite enlightening for me. So some of the responses were things like, creativity is not like doing something by rote, so not just like directly mimicking something, which led me down a little rabbit hole of discussion about this concept called practice zones, which is all about the process of learning and adapting a skill or learning to do something and reaching a level where you can become more creative with it. So obviously, when we start out anything, we're generally pretty clunky at it, shall we say, to begin with. Think of like driving a car. There's a lot of things you have to pay attention to, and it can be, pretty difficult. You often have to kind of do one thing at a time and really think everything through. That's all practice zone 1. When we get to practice zone 2, we are starting And finally, you get to practice zone 3, which is all about mastery and artistry, and where things start to get really flowy. And most things in what you're doing are happening unconsciously, which hopefully is where a lot of people are driving, although I hope you're also paying a lot of attention while you're doing that too. Then you can start to have conversations and listen to the radio or listen to your favorite podcast or whatever it happens to be, while you're still driving and getting safely from A to B. That's practice zone 3. So anything can be creative is kind of what I'm getting at. Another interesting thing that came up in these conversations was this idea that stuff that is not creative is often really boring and not very engaging. We don't find, stuff I guess a good example is stuff that we have to do or feel that we have to do in order to make our lives run smoothly, but are not particularly don't enjoy over much. That we find them quite boring, whether that's managing your finances or doing some administration or going to work for some people even can fall into this category. And so what I would like to invite into this meditation tonight is to talk about the 3 kind of components that I feel quite strongly are quite essential for creativity, and to be able to take creativity to a whole bunch of cool and interesting places and weave it into those things that perhaps we don't necessarily feel particularly engaged with sometimes. So these 3 things are connection, engagement, and enjoyment. It's a huge part of being creative. Is the creative process is actually enjoying it and being in the process, not worrying so much about the direct outcome of the thing, and being much more involved in the process itself for the sake of being in the process itself. Well, and so without further ado, I'll just invite you to make yourself comfortable. So we've talked a bit and gone over a bit about creativity and told you the context that I mean it in, and given you a couple of examples of things that we'll be exploring. So you can take a moment to make sure that you're in a comfortable position. Perhaps that's lying down or sitting up on a chair. Perhaps you're sitting on a cushion like me, or perhaps something different entirely. You might like to begin noticing your breath. Maybe close down your eyes. Perhaps wipe any sweat from your brow if you happen to be in a particularly hot room like myself. And just allow yourself to notice the things that you notice in the particular time and place that you find yourself in. You might notice tension in your face or jaw that you can relax. Maybe you can let go of your abdominal grip. And allow your legs to sink and grow heavy into the floor or cushion or chair. And you might notice that your breath can continue to flow, and that you can allow your breath to grow deeper, can you not? As you drift softly and gently on the inside. And as you drift, you can continue to relax. And flowing down a river, in a small small boat. Allow yourself to flow down this river in a small, small boat. And notice the gentle undulations of the boat as it drifts. And you can notice, can you not, that up ahead in the distance are bends in the river, around which you cannot see. And as you continue to flow and approach the first bend, I invite you to call to mind a particular time when you felt a certain sense of deep connection to someone or something. And notice how, as you continue to flow down this river, and the boat turns around the bend, it takes you fully into this particular time when you felt a certain sense of connection, a certain sense of deep connection to someone or something. That's it. And see the things that you saw, and hear the things that you heard, and feel the things that you felt in this particular time when you felt this deep sense of connection. That's it. And gently allow this to dissolve. Allow that time to dissolve back as you come back into this small, small boat that has turned that corner as you continue to drift down the river in this small, small boat. And you can notice, can you not, distance, another bend in the river around which you can also not yet see. Just feel the gentle rocking of the boat on the river as you approach this bend now. And notice how as you begin to turn this bend, you can call to mind a certain time when you felt a brilliant sense of enjoyment. Call to mind and go fully into this particular time when you felt brilliant sense of enjoyment. That's it. Feeling fully into, seeing all the way into, and hearing all around you this sense of brilliant enjoyment. As you allow yourself to come all the way into this particular experience of brilliant. And notice the things that you notice here. See the sights that you saw. Hear the sounds that you heard. And feel the feelings that you felt in this particular time when you felt this brilliant sense of enjoyment. And notice all of the resources. Notice all of the resources available to you when you feel this now. And gently allow that experience to dissolve. Let go of that experience as you come all the way back into this small boat. This small boat flowing gently down the river there. And I wonder if anything seems different now about this river or about this small boat. If there is anything else you can notice as you continue to drift and float along the river in this small boat. And I know as you continue to float on this small boat down the river that you can also notice canyon, a third bend just ahead on the river. And as you flow towards the river, towards the bend on the river in this third bend, notice that you can call to mind a specific time in the past, a specific time when you felt a strong sense of engagement. And as the boat begins to round this corner, notice how this can take you automatically into this specific experience. This specific experience of a strong sense of engagement. Almost as if it were happening automatically. And there's nothing you can do about it. And notice how this can take you all the way into this specific experience of a strong sense of engagement. That's it. And see the things that you saw here. Hear the sounds that you heard. And feel the feelings that you felt. Which you can do, can you not? All the way in this specific experience, a strong sense of engagement. That's it. And as you do this now, notice also all the resources available to you here. The various things that become possible for you when you connect with this strong sense of engagement. That's it. And allow that to dissolve. Allow that time to dissolve back as you return to this boat, to this small boat, flowing down this river, having rounded that third corner back there, and continuing to flow and drift. That's it. And as you cast your gaze forward along the river now, I know that there's something out there ahead, a particular thing that you feel is important in some way, and also that you're not particularly excited to be doing. But that is also quite important for the smooth and flourishing flow of your life to continue. And I wonder, as we continue to flow in this river towards that thing, what would happen if you allow yourself to come all the way into the next time you will need to engage with this thing that you're not particularly thrilled to be doing? And what happens to this thing? What can happen here when you bring yourself all the way into this thing, this particular time, and bring to it this sense of deep connection and all the resources of it, and this brilliant sense of enjoyment all the way into this thing, with all the resources that come with this brilliant sense of enjoyment. And what changes, what can be happen, what could be possible for you when you come to this particular thing with this deep sense, strong sense of engagement. I wonder, as you continue to explore this thing, what's different now? What possibilities and resources are continuing to open up before you as you explore this particular thing with a deep sense of connection and a brilliant sense of enjoyment and a strong sense of engagement. I wonder just how far the ripples of this can flow. How much more connected and enjoyable and engaging this can feel when you bring your own particular flavor of creativity. Because you can do this, can you not? To anything and everything you would like to. Slowly come all the way back to your body now, bringing all of this magic and joy and anything else you might have found there. Bringing all of these things back to your body now, coming all the way back into this experience, all the way back to the particular time and place in which you find yourself now. Slowly wriggling your fingers and toes. Feeling your breath lighten and slowly coming up, all the way back up, coming all the way back up into the room and slowly opening your eyes to rejoin us, to rejoin me, as it were. And thank you so much for joining me for this meditation tonight. This has been heaps and heaps of fun. I really had a lot of fun creating this and having a bit of a play around and talking to different people about different things with it. And I would love to hear any feedback that you have. Hopefully it's been, the connection's been a little bit less janky tonight, and hopefully the video quality is a little bit better. We'll see. I remembered the lights this week, which was great. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic week. Thank you, Prue. Thank you, Ritesh. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.